Hello team, how's it going? Welcome to Combat Ready HQ. Welcome to today's video. So we are looking at the Nordic Air Force. We're looking at the F-15, 16, 18 and the JAS 39 from Finland, Norway, Denmark and Sweden. So before we get into it though, I just want to give a massive shout out to newest channel members Ian, Kathy and Rhonda. If you want to become a channel member, you can click the join button below. Make sure you grab your Combat Ready coffee. Check them out on the website below. Check out our free Discord and Instagram as well. And as always, please comment with what your thoughts are, what you want to see next. Looking forward to this, especially with Finland joining NATO last year. Sweden now just part of NATO. So let's see what this is all about. Let's get into it.
Look at how 4 Nordic nations have established a unified air force and how these 4 fighters made this possible. On March 24th, the air forces of Finland, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway announced an agreement to operate their combined forces of over 200 fighter planes as a unified Nordic air defense force. This move is a historic first between these countries and was ratified via a Joint Declaration of Intent, or JDI, on March 16th at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. United States Air Force General James Hecker, who is also the head of NATO Air Command, was present for the signing. Today, we will take a look at what this means for the region, what fighter planes comprise this newly formed air force, and what each jet brings to the table in terms of operational capability. The decision to unite the air forces of 4 nations under one command carries with it the ultimate goal of being able to operate seamlessly together as one force. This newly formed air force rivals that of a large European nation in numbers, and command and control is to be established by developing a Nordic concept for combined air operations, which will be based on an already known and established NATO methodology. It is important to point out that when this agreement was reached, Finland and Sweden were not yet part of NATO. However, on April 3rd, Finland became the 31st member of NATO, and as of this recording, Sweden is expected to formally become a member soon. So the question is, if all 4 nations are or will soon become part of NATO, why the need for a seemingly separate Nordic Air Force? There are actually 4 reasons that have been cited in the document which was shared following the agreement. First, combining the Nordic Air Forces allows for integrated operations, planning, and execution. This makes sense since the operating environments and conditions are very similar in the 4 countries involved. Secondly, the alliance allows for flexible and resilient air basing, meaning runways and maintenance facilities can be used by the partner nations more openly. Then there's the third factor, shared situational awareness. It's hard to imagine, but prior to this agreement, each of the 4 nations had to conduct their intelligence assessments and tracking of aircraft independently. The new agreement creates a common contiguous defense zone that essentially covers the Baltic Sea. And finally, the 4th reason stated is an allowance for common air education, training, and exercises to be held, allowing crews to cross-train and mutually support each other's forces.
So exactly that. It does bring all 4 nations together. It makes a much stronger and bigger capability, but it makes things a lot more flexible. Exactly what I was sort of thinking when the video started. You're bringing 4 nations who are very close together anyway, very friendly with each other, bringing those capabilities together, but being able to share sort of operations, exercises under one command, and it makes it a lot easier sometimes if you are that close, especially with what happens up there when you've got Russia sort of testing people's response times. You've got sort of quite a large threat and them coming under NATO. So if you can bring that under one command for whenever it does kick off, as long as the nation stays sort of part of their own, but they have that one command ready, I think it could really work.
Alright, now let's get into the aircraft specifics for each of the 4 nations involved and what each platform brings to the newly formed alliance. Starting with Norway, who had been operating the Lockheed Martin F-16 Fighting Falcon up until 2022, which has been replaced by the Lockheed Martin F-35A Lightning. Norway has over 50 F-35s and is one of the early adopters of the Lightning, having acquired their first F-35s all the way back in 2017. In fact, Norway was the 4th country to acquire the Lightning after the United States, Israel, and Italy. The F-35 is
with the F-35 being one of the top fighters, multi-role fighters, stealth fighters in the world. You can see why they're putting all these orders in. It is up there in the top 3, I would say, top 2 of fighter jets at this current time personally. What's your thoughts?
Without a doubt, the most numerous and successful 5th generation stealth fighter, with some 900 examples delivered and over 600,000 flight hours logged on the global fleet. Additionally, the Lightning has also won several high-profile fighter competitions, more on that later. As to what the Lightning brings to the table, we can start with sensor fusion and an airborne command node. Along with stealth or low observability, the F-35 was designed to integrate and leverage allied air assets and air defenses. This integration is so thorough that the F-35 has been often referred to as a quarterback in the sky, capable of directing assets and reading the enemy signals to plan its next moves. The F-35 also makes use of a distributed aperture system, or DAS, which provides 360-degree spherical situational awareness via cameras and sensors placed throughout the aircraft. Additionally, the F-35's fleet is being upgraded to the Block 4 standard, which, among many things, include numerous improvements in computational power, avionics, new weapon options, and even a more powerful radar that can detect and track targets at much longer ranges than today.
So this is massive. For those that don't know, okay, being on the battlefield as a soldier, a pilot, sailor, whatever it is, the more situational awareness, the better soldier, pilot, or whatever you are, operator you are going to be, the better team you're going to be, the better you're going to be able to carry out your missions or whatever it is you are conducting. Having full situational awareness is something I used to really tell the recruits, say when they were doing a section attack, okay, you're moving forward onto an enemy position. Okay, where's the enemy at all times? What is your section doing? What's fire support doing? Okay, are you in sort of a straightish line, okay, so you don't sort of have friendly fire? You've got comms. What's also going on around the battlefield around you? It's, you know, being a soldier is pretty easy, but it's also being quite hard. And one of the hardest things is having full situational awareness. And being a pilot in a seat in a big plane, you have a lot of blind spots. Okay, there's a lot of open space going on. All right, so if you've got this technology that gives you full 360 situational awareness, radars that are picking up targets from even further away, so you don't have to get as close to those targets to engage because you've got the missiles to engage them from distance anyway, it's going to make you a safer and better pilot. So this is absolutely huge. If you're joining the army, in the army, one of the things you really want to work on or really want to be like good at is having full situational awareness. Commanding the new Ajax, I did CVRT, okay, being a commander, say you're doing a crew commander, a troop commander's role, you need to know what's going on in your vehicle, what's the driver doing, what's the gunner doing, what's going on around you. You've also got headsets with 2 nets and you're talking to the driver, so you've got 3 things sort of going on. You want to know what's going on with the squadron, maybe higher up in the battlefield. You want to know where all your vehicles are in the troop. Okay, you're looking out for enemy targets as well. Having that full situational awareness and being able to pass up messages as well to make that better. It's huge, okay? So this really helps the pilots. I think it's great.
I've done an entire video on the F-35's upgraded radar. I'll leave a link in the description below. Given the F-35's current and planned capabilities along with its lowering per unit cost, we can begin to see why the Lightning has won virtually every fighter procurement competition it has entered, including those for Finland and Switzerland. Moving on to the next partner in the Nordic Air Defense Agreement, Denmark, which currently operates over 40 F-16s with 27 F-35s on order. The F-16 Fighting Falcon or Viper is a 4th generation fighter which was initially designed as a day air superiority fighter. However, throughout its long and storied career, the F-16 evolved into a true multi-role platform, implementing the first use of relaxed static stability or fly-by-wire flight control system. The F-16 is an agile aircraft and an excellent dogfighter. With over 4,500 examples built, the F-16 is the world's most numerous and combat-proven 4th generation fighter. Although the F-16 is a non-stealth platform, it features low operating costs, high reliability or mission-capable rates, and mission flexibility in both air-to-air and air-to-ground roles. Denmark's F-16s are an excellent placeholder as their new F-35s are delivered and become operational. Next, we turn to Finland, who is currently operating some 50 FA-18Cs, with 64 F-35s on order. Like the F-16, the F-18 or Hornet is a multi-role fighter. However, unlike the F-16, the Hornet was designed for carrier operations and features an arresting hook, folding wings, and landing gear specifically designed to operate off of carriers. Finland's Hornets are land-based, and while also a non-stealthy 4th-generation fighter, the F-18 is a combat-proven platform with relatively high mission-capable rates. Moreover, since Finland shares a land border with Russia, Finnish Hornets have extensive experience flying near the border and likely tracking Russian aircraft that are in proximity to their mutual border. Still, the Finnish Hornets are nearing the end of their service lives, which is one reason that Finland has placed the largest order for new F-35s of the 4 Nordic countries. And last but certainly not least is Sweden, which finds itself in a unique position. While Norway, Denmark, and Finland are all moving to the F-35, Sweden is opting for the latest version of the Gripen, the JAS-39E. Aside from being an excellent aircraft, the Gripen is also designed and manufactured in Sweden. The Gripen is an extremely reliable, low-cost-to-operate multi-role fighter designed specifically to operate in the harsh Nordic environment. Today, Sweden operates about 70 of their C and D models, which are powered by a Volvo RM12 engine, a license-built version of the GE F404 engine, similar to those found in legacy Hornets such as the ones operated by Finland. The vastly improved E model of the Gripen will be powered by a General Electric RM16, which is similar to the F414 engines found on the Super Hornet. The E version will also feature advanced avionics and electronic countermeasures, which should provide an offset to the Gripen airframe's 4th-generation design. In terms of the Nordic Alliance, the C and D versions will likely be used in similar ways that the 4th-generation F-16s and F-18s are used, while the E version of the Gripen will likely be deployed in roles that are more aligned to the F-35's tasking, providing advanced detection along with command and control capabilities in a fighter-sized airframe. The formation of a unified Nordic Air Force is a direct response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine last year. In terms of deterring and potentially combating Russian aggression, this significant agreement has the potential to benefit all parties involved. While each Air Force brings unique capabilities to the table, they also share many similarities beyond their proximity. Collaborating would enhance the effectiveness and potency of air defense tasks and aerial surveillance, as well as providing greater flexibility and unpredictability in war planning. In today's era of multifaceted aerial threats, ranging from traditional fixed-wing aircraft like fighters and bombers, to low-altitude cruise missiles, swarms of drones, and even hypersonic weapons, pooling resources for air defense makes more sense than pursuing an independent approach. This holds true from both a strategic and economic standpoint, particularly when confronting a common enemy with a potentially larger force. What do you think? Is the formation of a Nordic Air Force a good idea? How does NATO fit into this overall setup? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see how the F-35...
What is everyone's thoughts on this then? I think it is a great idea if you can make it work. If the nations can maintain, obviously, their traditions, their units and their own command. Because I don't think we should just... I've heard the rumours of a European army. I don't think we should all just give up everything and come under one army. But I think having a command, a team that works closer together, that Finland, Norway, Denmark, Sweden, they're quite, they're not small countries, they're not really small islands, but the militaries aren't sort of overpowering. They're not massive superpowers, but they're great militaries. And if you can bring them together to make it a larger capability, a stronger capability, especially with all the new F-35s in order as well and the new Gripen, I think it's a great idea, especially with that Nordic corridor. Like I said, the response time's always been tested. That threat that is always there and it's not going to go away. So if you can sort of protect that and have a stronger force, so when that might make them think twice, going, hang on, okay, they're now part of NATO. They've now got this Nordic Air Force. Okay, yes, we see this as a threat, but it's quite a big threat. So do we really want to push it? Do we really want to test it? Because do we really have the capabilities, the strength to go up against this? Especially if they're used to training together. That commander knows how to operate its team. They are sharing runways, bases a lot easier, aircraft, munitions, fuel. There's no like, oh, we're running out of fuel, where do we go? We just go, right, we are closer to Norway, we're just going to pop in there because we have that capability now. We can just go straight in there. I think it's a really, really good idea. They've just got to make it work. You've got to get used to training together. They've got similar training environments anyway, similar exercises. That should make it a lot more seamless and a lot easier. So let us know what your thoughts are, but I think this is a great idea. I think other nations could sort of look at Five Eyes with us and the other countries. You know, it is happening all around the world. You know, you've got sort of allies really working a lot closer together now. So World War I, World War II sort of never really happens again. That's obviously the main reason for it, is to stop that from happening. So let us know what your thoughts are, and I'll see you soon.